Do you ever feel a little off or a little disconnected from yourself, from nature, from just the things around us on this earth that are so beautiful? In the past couple of years, I've really tried to do my best to make sure that when I was feeling this way, that I plugged into nature. I got recharged from the things around us that are just magnificent. And a few of the things that I know that have helped me have been making sure that I am getting outside to exercise. Jason and I have been taking walks along down by the river. I know I talked about this before, but and I started just looking at all the wildflowers and how absolutely beautiful they were. And I decided I was going to do this project that I had done in elementary school and pick wildflowers, dry them, put them in a scrapbook. And they are now in the drying phase. And it's really exciting. Every time I pick up the box that's on top of it to help them dry out so that they stay and they don't get all gross and moldy in my scrapbook. Um, I just think, wow, like there are so many of these out there. And the more you look for things, the more you see them. Prior to me starting looking for wildflowers, I remember a couple of times thinking, oh, it looks really pretty here. But now, everywhere I go, any drive I take, I see them. And it almost is a bit, I don't know, meditative, gets your mind off of everything else going on in your life. There's a road that I drive up to go to my practice called Book Road. And it is just gorgeous in all times of year, but fall is by far one of my favorites as far as scenery goes. The change of colors, the yellow wildflowers that are out, the purple ones are some of my favorite. Yellow flowers will always have a special place in my heart because I keep them in my home. But on a daily basis, we started that during COVID. I was struggling quite a bit with everything going on and the finances of the practice and being shut down for a period of time. And Jason bought me yellow flowers. And so every couple of weeks, as soon as they start looking a little sad, we go out and we get yellow flowers. And we've decided that there will always be fresh yellow flowers in our home. Again, just to remind us that there is beauty even when there's stress. And that's been really helpful. But anyway, I've always loved to drive up Book Road, and it's also one lane traffic either way. And I have a Jeep, and so if you know anything about Jeeps, or if you have a Jeep, you know that you wave at other Jeep owners, and it's kind of one of my most fun parts of owning a Jeep. And I'm hard pressed to think that I'll ever not have a Jeep as my primary car because it's so fun. But I'll drive up the road and sometimes there's sunflowers on the side of the road. Sometimes there's all of these other yellow flowers and purple flowers. Anyway, it just keeps me really present. And if there is stuff going on in my life, it just kind of fades in the background while I'm focused on that beauty. Sometimes it's as simple as going outside and looking up. Um, you'll see birds flying over. You'll see bright blue sky sometimes, fluffy clouds. I always tend to see things in the clouds. I remember reading that if you're a creative person, that many times you'll see visions in the clouds. I'm not sure if I'm calling them visions, but you look, that looks like a sea turtle, or look, that looks like a warrior. I remember when I was flying to visit my sister one time, I think we went to Albuquerque. And as the plane was coming down, I swear to God, there was like this woman warrior holding a spear, and it was plain as day. It was huge, and I almost took a picture, but my phone was off. And I just thought, I'm just going to sit back and remember this and create a kind of a memory in my mind. And so I can close my eyes and I can see her. And so I always see that type of stuff around me. And I know that seems kind of kooky for some people, but for me, it makes me really happy. We went a couple days up north just to take a breather from the rest of the world, and the fall colors just, an hour north of here are even better than they are here. We live in the Chicagoland area. Um, and it was just so stunning and breathtaking. And, and just knowing that this just happens because it happens. It happens because these parts of nature just keep going. Each season they do its thing and they know what to do. And I find a lot of power and a lot of peace in that. The other thing that I know I plugged into a couple of years ago is I realized that if I didn't get myself by a body of water for a period of time, I normally like to try to get myself by water 4 times a year. Now, sometimes that does not happen. It definitely did not happen this year. We had a vacation or two that got canceled on us, where we were going to the ocean, and I live smack dab in the middle of the country, so there's not a lot of oceans. There is Lake Michigan, which is beautiful, but um, I realized that the ocean or a lake or even sitting by a pool recharges me. And that I know that I need to be intentional about finding that space, finding that time in my life to be by it. Um, I when I was growing up, I just loved the water. I could be in the water, 12 hours a day, I think, between being a swimmer and a diver. And I grew up in New Jersey, so we would go to the Jersey Shore, and man, that water could be so flippin' freezing. And my sister and I would be out there just diving into waves just over and over and over, or body surfing or looking for shells. And sometimes those simple pleasures, and finding them again for yourself as you get older, I think brings you back and brings you a little more centered within yourself, and brings you calm, brings you peace. A couple years ago, I went to Cancun by myself. I normally take a trip around February, March. Again, Chicagoland, it is, oh, you get a couple months from, I'm all excited in the holidays, right? You've got a little Halloween, and then you get Thanksgiving, and it starts to get colder, and then you get Christmas, and you get we have New Year's Eve. And so no matter how cold or snowy or dreary it is during that time, I don't know, I just always really enjoy the holidays. But you get to January 2nd, and in Chicagoland, you know that you're going to have a couple of months of cold and wind and sometimes dreary. Every once in a while, we luck out. I think last year, this year, 2020, I actually think we had a lot more sun. I think that was just the universe just being like, here, we're just going to give you some sunshine while you try to go through all of this. But one year, I didn't have anyone to go with. I wasn't married anymore. I wasn't dating anyone seriously. I didn't have any girlfriends that could go. And I always, like clockwork, planned something. Um, and it was about a week before the time that I normally went. And I could just feel something bubbling up inside. And I looked at my office manager and I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go by myself. I had been to the Cancun area multiple times. I kind of knew my way around the airport. I know who to talk to. I know who not to talk to. I'd always used a travel company, Best Day Travel. I knew exactly where their kiosk was. I knew to put my head down and just walk straight there. And I knew that I felt safe in a couple of the places that I'd been before, even by myself. And so I got online and I booked a trip, and I was gone for, I think, only 3 nights, 4 days. And I remember talking to some people and they were like, oh, is that safe? Or you're going to go by yourself? Like, oh, we're going to be lonely. And it was the first solo trip that I'd ever taken. And I remember it was so restorative and regenerative. I slept when I wanted to sleep. If I was tired again, I would go up and take a nap. I took super long showers. I went for walks on the beach. I sat at the pool and read books. And some of my friends that were excited for me were saying, oh my goodness, you're going to meet so many people and talk to us. I'm like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I need to be a little more quiet. And during the whole time I was there, I talked to one couple for about 40 minutes, sitting at the bar one night before I was going to dinner. And That was it. I just had to unplug from everything and be by the ocean. And it was a super happy time. And I just remember feeling very grateful that I'd pulled the plug and decided to go ahead and do this by myself. I do remember one evening, because they have all the different restaurants at an all inclusive if you've been before, that you sign up for, and so they give you a little ticket that you need to bring to the maitre d or the person checking people in. And so I hand the ticket and it just says one on it because I was solo. And this poor guy looks at me, he goes, just one? He said, you don't have any family? And I said, I do. They're just back home and I'm here by myself. And he was like, oh, okay. But he couldn't seem to fathom the fact that I was there by myself. And I sat down to that dinner and um, and I don't know, I guess I felt proud of myself for doing it. And I knew that it would be something that I would do again. So I'm getting ready to take just a little getaway. It may include someone, it may not. But I know that it's time for me to again kind of look inward and spend some time by myself and spend some time in nature, just enjoying the absolute beauty around. So I guess this week I'd like to challenge you to look for things in nature that really speak to you and then figure out a way, how can you spend more time with that? How can you spend more time intentionally seeking it out, appreciating it, looking at it for all that it can offer and having it be a part of your plan for the things that you elevate. In Socket, we talk about what to toss, what to recycle, and what to elevate. And the beauty of nature is definitely on my short list for one of the things to elevate. Because as you elevate things that bring you happiness and joy, some of the other things kind of fade back into the background, at least for the time being. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will be back again with you soon. Bye bye.